Greetings everybody from beautiful Lexington, Kentucky. It's the USL Championship tonight in the Western Conference as Lexington Sporting Club welcomes New Mexico United. Alongside the coach Eric Dobransky and our entire crew, I'm Sean St. Jacques. It's great to have you with us. Early days and weeks in the second half of the USL Championship regular season. Each game that passes by will play a massive role in shaping out the playoff picture. Coming into the night in the Western Conference, New Mexico looking to push towards the top half of the table, the top two in particular. They have games in hand, so do Lexington. We're trying to get back into the top 8 and potentially jump over a few teams if they're able to take home all 3 points tonight. Lexington in the league, Eric, have been in fantastic form. They're coming off a tough loss in the Cup, but overall, they've really turned a corner.
And defensively, they've been one of the most disciplined teams in the league all season, but they've tightened the screws even further, managing transition moments with greater consistency, and going forward, the chance creation has taken another step.
We have these debates from time to time. Who's the best player in the USL Championship? It's really hard to not name Aaron Malloy in that conversation week in and week out. He's just fabulous.
And it's hard because he influences every phase of play. Defensively, he breaks up attacks, protects the back line. In possession, he's comfortable receiving in tight spaces, drawing pressure to create openings higher up the field. He's going to be at the center of it all for Lexington.
Well, speaking of excellent form as of late, whether it's been in the Cup or in the league, New Mexico United have really started to surge at the right time of the year. They're unbeaten in all competitions going back to the end of May, and we know this about Dennis Sanchez teams. They tend to get right at the right time of the year.
And that surge came on the heels of a razor-thin home loss to the Eastern Conference leaders, Tampa Bay Rowdies, and since then this group has been fueled by confidence and belief, and that's a process that's going to showcase itself as the season wears on.
Two teams in really good league form doing battle tonight. Greg Hurst, our player to watch for New Mexico. It's because he's just a really good player up top.
Yeah, someone who Mac Hemi is very familiar with from his time at New Mexico United. Instinctual finisher, relentless runner. His movement has a unique ability to unmark himself, even when space is at a premium, and meets that opportunity with ruthless approach in front of goal. And Lexington's going to have to make sure they're bumping his runs, making sure he's not free and available in that penalty area.
It's the third all-time meeting between Lexington and New Mexico. Plenty of playoff implications potentially on the line here in Kentucky. Both teams trying to make their move up the Western Conference standings. Lineups, kickoff from Kentucky are coming up when we come back.
Lexington, start your engines. It's match day. Genesis of Lexington is proud to partner with Lexington Sporting Club, delivering craftsmanship, performance, and premium experience on and off the field. From kickoff to final whistle, we're investing back in the community that fuels this club. Ready to make your next move? Step into class and experience luxury evolve at genesisoflexington.com. Genesis of Lexington. Drive the difference.
This isn't just a soccer match. It's a movement that brings the city together, brings it to its feet. The noise, Malloy, the energy. 90 minutes where nothing else matters.
Into the box, Firmino sizzles the string.
It's the year of the horse, our year.
Oh, what a save by Sedley.
Be there when it happens.
It takes dozens of muscles to pinch your fingertips. Countless neurons firing right on cue. But when a car accident left Allison paralyzed, it took a rare procedure by a UK healthcare expert to restore those lost motor skills so she could care for herself again, and for others too. It may look like an ordinary bracelet, but Allison knows ordinary is extraordinary. UK Healthcare, the power of advanced medicine.
Lexington Sporting Club isn't just a team, it's your club. That's why you need the LSC credit and debit cards only from Commonwealth Credit Union. With your LSC card, you get exclusive discounts on tickets, merch, and get to celebrate your club with every swipe or tap. Show your Lexington Sporting Club pride and gear up with the ultimate fan accessory only from Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
Tonight's match is presented by Embassy Suites. Welcome back, everybody. Sean and Eric here with you. We dive right into the starting 11s for both teams. We start with Mac Hemme and the hosts, Lexington.
My attention goes to Rodriguez centrally and his connection with the front three. Goodrum will showcase quality work rate on and off the ball. Where does that guide the space that becomes available for Rodriguez, working below or beyond that front line?
On the other side of the coin for New Mexico United under Dennis Sanchez, unbeaten in their last 7 games played.
Yeah, here on the road, it's going to be reinforcing the press, being disruptive in those moments and allowing that to gain them territory on the ball. Bailey, Jabang, Noel will lead that task. And then Hämäläinen in the back has done a tremendous job of controlling defensive exchanges, and also unlocking space higher up the field.
The prior 2 meetings between Lexington and New Mexico were both the same scoreline, just with each team taking home 3 points in those 2 respective meetings. The last was September 28th, 2025 at the Lab in Albuquerque. New Mexico won it by 2-1. So the aggregate scoreline, just like the wins each, is tied. Something in that regard we'll have to give, but more importantly, as far as the now is concerned, both teams are trying to make a jump up the Western Conference standings. Both teams have games in hand on others around them in the Western Conference table. Time is very much of the essence. Even in the middle of July, both teams want to make their move as quickly as they possibly can. Elvis Osmanovic is our head referee. And at the second attempt, we are underway from Lexington SC Stadium in Lexington, Kentucky. Lexington in their home dark greens with the light green trimmer going from left to right. New Mexico in those vintage away yellows have it on this near side out for a throw-in. First time these 2 teams are meeting in this campaign, the USL Championship regular season. Both teams, particularly in the league, are in excellent form. As you mentioned earlier, New Mexico in all competitions haven't lost in 7 coming into tonight.
Sean, you mentioned what 3 points would mean to both these sides in terms of the standings and the games in hand that they have. But we know it all so well that those only matter if you take advantage of those games in hand and you collect points in those matchups. So you almost feel like the playoffs just continue to tighten up, especially with those teams below the playoff line. I mean, you've seen a surge from Monterey Bay, a surge from Las Vegas. Phoenix Rising just continues to get results. The West is just so tight.
Can Lexington push ahead here? Not quite on the same page on the back end. That was Tyler Blackett there defensively for New Mexico. We'll be keeping a very close eye on the Western Conference live table as tonight unfolds. You mentioned it, Coach. One result either way could completely change how the standings look. It's that tight right now. Lexington on the front foot here, trying to fit that cross through. Handball appeals come in from the Lexington players. Referee waves those appeals away. Loose touch allows Malloy to play Epps in down this far side. Epps could not control it. It's a New Mexico throw. Let's look at tonight's keys to the game. They're presented by Toyota. Obviously, Lexington had a heartbreaker in the Commonwealth Cup last time out, but they'll feel that that shouldn't take away from the overall league form that they've been on recently.
It shouldn't, and it did showcase a lot of resilience from the group as we see Mac Hemme. So continue to build off of that, and obviously in league play, they've been in tremendous form. And then for New Mexico United, feeding off that confidence. Dennis Sanchez spoke to us about that confidence, that belief that has been such a driving factor for this team in getting results. And you look at their schedule, they have some tight results and a lot of 1-0 victories. So that just speaks to the character, kind of the adaptability that this team displays night in and night out. And when you are in the fight that the Western Conference is, those plays are going to play out quite often in matchups.
We briefly mentioned it earlier. A win for New Mexico could put them right on the heels of the top 2 in the West, currently San Antonio and Orange County, as the offside flag goes up there. A win for Lexington, who come into the night in 9th place on the outside looking in of the playoff positions. A win for them, and all of a sudden you're in a top 4 conversation. I mean, that's how tight it is right now. Live table right now, 4 points separate 5th and 12th in the West. I mean, that's how tight we're talking right now. And there's still so many games left, but because it's so tight, each game will feel like it makes an impact on the playoff chase, even right now.
You just can't hit a lull where you're not picking up points. And now, we did have some teams in the West kind of get off to a slower start, but we've also seen them get into hot runs in terms of picking up 3 points. And when you can pick up 3 points, that's where you start picking up the difference. Turnover from New Mexico United. But you almost feel like kind of a faulty week might put you behind, but something where you're going to get tested week in, week out.
If any team sort of solidifies your point, it's Monterey Bay.
Oh, yeah.
Slow start that they got off to. Yes, obviously Jordan Stewart is now an assistant here with Lexington. They move on from him, they bring in Alex Covello, and all of a sudden Monterey Bay are just 4 points out of a playoff spot. That's how quickly things can change. Lexington are on the front foot here. Goodrum's hold-up play. Blaine Ferry slides in to keep it going for Lexington, at least initially. The great fight on the back end. Melto and company do well for New Mexico, and they just about sniff it out, and they'll get the throw in on the back end as well.
I think there are a lot of names within this Lexington lineup and this squad that you look at, we talk about. I think Blaine Ferry has been one of those players that just consistent, just stability through the midfield. He's got the delivery on set pieces, obviously shares that responsibility with Aaron Malloy, but he really anchors a lot of what this team is able to do.
6th in the league as well with 28 chances created. I don't know if that gets talked about enough. There's so many stars. Aaron Malloy on the ball there, the brightest among them in this Lexington group. But it does feel like Blaine Ferry is maybe, arguably, one of the most important players on this Lexington team. Keeps the engine running in every sense. Speaking of Blaine Ferry, he's fouled there and wins Lexington a free kick.
So intelligent with the touches, knowing that he's got immediate pressure on him. And this is going to be a bit of the cat and mouse that you see from both these teams, because both teams value possession. They value being on the ball. But most of all, they don't just want the ball to have the ball. They're intentional and purposeful with what that generates and what that can create numerically. And I do think as games like this play out, it does become transitional in terms of when you regain possession, who could be effective and efficient with that ball played forward and break lines of pressure, because these are two defensive-minded teams that can get good numbers behind the ball and be quality in that moment. In that rapid decision, can you play forward, generate some havoc?
That was a lovely initial run from Greg Hurst. He was stopped in his tracks in the end, but New Mexico still have it until there. It's a poor ball in behind. Oliver Semle is there to reset for Lexington. New Mexico with some pressure here. Semle gives the ball away. Can New Mexico take advantage? Good step defensively by Arturo Ordonez. Rodriguez up ahead. Marcus Epps waited for more help, instead checks it down for the arriving Malloy.
Yeah, right there was going to be a prime example of what we kind of touched on in the starting 11 for New Mexico United. That ability to not only press, but you have to have reinforcement and you have to have good positional play. Now you also owe yourself the execution on the back end of that play, and kind of lose City their second goal against Lexington in the USL Cup. Obviously not late play.
Oh, dangerous moment here. Javane Brown, who made that massive mistake in the cup to give Louisville their 4th goal. Luckily, Semle was there to help him. New Mexico choosing their moments to press, and they're making things happen. Another rough battle there, but New Mexico emerges with the ball here. Valentin Noel checks down for Ousmane Jabang. Chris Gloucester corrals it. The pressing has led to more positive moments for New Mexico here. And Blackett forced to go all the way back to New Mexico's goalkeeper, Chris Shakes.
And this is the side of the field that I'm going to be intrigued with the matchup. Hämäläinen, Gloucester along this left side, because Zenge for Lexington has been tremendous, obviously this season, but the last few weeks, goals, the previous 2 matches, and Gloucester and Hämäläinen do a terrific job of overloading that side, creating numerical advantages. Gloucester climbs the field so well.
The ball weighted over the top. Nice hold-up play by Christian Nava. What a story he's been this season. Greg Hurst out to the far side. It's fed into the middle. That was a really dangerous ball. More issues at the back on the back end, and Semle just about clears it away. Couple of nervy defensive moments from Lexington. Just haven't seen that from them as of late, at least not in the league.
And it's going to be intriguing to see how both these teams react to it, because if you're the team that is kind of struggling and sputtering in those moments and kind of having those self-inflicted wounds, sometimes you could settle in and say, okay, now we need to just find the next layer. For the next few moments, let's be okay with being vertical. Let's find that next line and be secure. But then on the flip side, for New Mexico United, you only grow in confidence. And you talk about Dennis Sanchez and saying that that confidence and that belief is just oozing through this team right now. I mean, they're going to feel like every ball is a pressing ball, and you can cause that chaos that can generate and create such a dangerous attack, as Gloucester does a terrific job of keeping this ball in.
Hämäläinen for Gloucester again. Want to get away from Firmino, switches the point of the attack. Malik Howell. Usman Jabang looking for Greg Hurst. Tried to flick on the header. It's last off of Ordonez, and New Mexico wins a corner.
You can see Lexington just out of sorts at the moment, because even defensively there, and this is where that initial pressure really influences the game, because you have Aaron Malloy having to drop into his own box so far away from being impactful going forward. He has to help out defensively.
Christian Nava scored a couple of games back against Oakland. Obviously had the long history with that brutal ACL tear. We asked Dennis Sanchez about him. He said, I still get goosebumps watching that goal back. He's worked so hard. So he kind of epitomizes the blue-collar work ethic of the New Mexico community and of the culture that this team represents. I'd argue it's one of the best stories we've seen in the USL Championship so far this year.
Agreed, and I think as an outsider and as a neutral, you just love to see that hard work pay off and it all come to fruition. The ball here.
More lovely interplay, Noel. Oh, what a block. Timely block there from Aaron Malloy. Now can Marcus Epps spring the counterattack here for Lexington. He's caught up to by Nava. Whether you're headed to the next match or your next road trip, step into class and experience luxury performance at genesisoflexington.com. Genesis of Lexington's part of Don Franklin Auto Group, proud partner of LSC. Should mention as well, for those maybe just tuning in, yes, Philip Goodrum did pick up 2 yellows, led to a red card in the loss away to Louisville in Prinks Tire's USL Cup. However, the suspension that he'll take for that will be impacted in next year's Prinks Tire's USL Cup and not on the USL Championship regular season. So he won't serve that one-match ban until next year's Cup competition rolls around, for those wondering how that goes.
There's no question that he's going to want to atone for picking up that double yellow and that first half sending off and putting his team down a player, but he is already a player that is so relentless with the work rate that Now you just know that there's going to be an uptick, and you've got to deal with kind of the wrath as we see another turnover.
Oh, and Semle was off his line. Greg Hurst saw that and went for glory. Lexington are a bit fortunate that the Scotsman sent it into the seats.
Well, this is just uncharacteristic from Lexington, but you also go to the credit of New Mexico United. I mean, they are subtle with the way that they are positionally putting themselves in areas where they can not only apply immediate pressure, but screen passes and jump lanes. But that last turnover was kind of just a casual look back and then just playing it in the wrong space or the wrong player.
That was a lovely initial flick by Firmino, but Goodrum was forced back. Now Zenge, who did score in the game at Louisville last time out in the Cup. So did Rodriguez. Rodriguez looking over the top for Epps. Lovely initial take here from Marcus Epps. Gets some space. Stands up the cross into the middle. Zenge. Off a lovely touch feed from Firmino. Just couldn't put enough behind it to beat Shakes.
And terrific from Epps. Getting his defender 1v1, knowing that help was coming, so he had to get the service off quickly. Allowed numbers to get in. But this is how delicate the game of football can be. We've seen it throughout the USL Championship. And that's why so often I say when teams take a 1-0 lead, you have to go after that second goal, because this is such a two-goal league that you need that cushion. But for the example of New Mexico United, you could see all this momentum, but for Lexington, you see one moment where ball.
New Mexico are in again. Oh! Missed opportunity from Melto. The ball fell so kindly initially for Hurst, but Melto cannot apply the finishing touch.
And this right here finishes the point that I was about to make, was until you find that breakthrough, if you're New Mexico United, this momentum and this loud start, it's still a 0-0 game. And we all know that the ebbs and flows that can present themselves in a 90-minute match, you know that Lexington is sitting here asking themselves questions. Okay, where is the next outlet? How do we get a foothold in this game? How do we kind of challenge them in certain areas?
We mentioned that Lexington have won 4 of their last 5 games in the league, but they're coming off the heartbreaking loss to Louisville in the Commonwealth Cup that knocks them out of Brinks Tire's USL Cup, while New Mexico, yes, also on a short week. They might be feeling the positivity even though they got knocked out, but you win the Derby del Camino Real away from home with all the pomp and circumstance of Cristo Fernandez thrown in there as well, but Dennis Sanchez's team perseveres through all of that and scored 2 goals in the last 5 minutes to win the game. Are they riding that wave a bit at the moment, as Marcus Epps is frustrated with the fact that he's been caught offside here?
You mentioned that result for New Mexico United with the first goal coming in the 85th minute. I mean, you look at it, any team on the road could sit there and be like, hey, at 0-0, we'll just battle to a 0-0, and obviously the standings were what they were, but you go and push for 2 goals, and you thought maybe the squad rotation you'd see, but Dennis Sanchez mentioned it. They go back to El Paso.
The difference a derby makes, doesn't it?
Oh,
I mean,
100%.
Just those other rules always seem to fly off the table when it's the rival opposite you. Meanwhile, Firmino steps into one. It's deflected. And Shakes takes it from there for New Mexico.
Well, and that's why I mentioned Goodrum wanting to atone for the early sending off. That rivalry with Lou City, and regardless of where they each were sitting, I mean, that was going to be an important match for both teams. Obviously in different conferences, but in the league, still something very important to both those sides. It just builds on that momentum that you're looking, that traction that you're looking to build.
There was a fleeting moment in early parts of that first half where Lexington in the live table would have won the group. Obviously, it did not last very long. Better spell of possession initially for Lexington. They keep it with Zenge, who resets for Ordonez. Ordonez fits a pass into a tight window there. Then Firmino is tripped up, and it's another Lexington free kick.
See Firmino drifting central and opening that channel for Zenge when he does choose to climb, as we see him kind of venture in our screen. There's the free kick, and there's going to be moments where maybe Lexington can, obviously this being a range of your pass, but can settle in, get numbers in the attacking third.
Oh, wonderful defensive work there from Christian Nava. Wins the ball back, wins a free kick. And our head referee is trying to track down Jacob Green at the moment. Might just be for a talking to here.
Green recognizing not only how dangerous Nava can be and will be in that moment, also transitionally, they could have numbers going down the field.
It appears it was just a talking to, no yellow card for Jacob Green there. But you would surmise that that'll be his last warning. Gloucester. Blackett. Out to that far side, Malik Howell. Blackett's ball over the top. Flies out of play. Well, cheers to local beer. West 6 Brewing is proud to be the official craft beer of Lexington Sporting Club. Head to west6.com to visit one of their dynamic tap rooms and learn more about Stadium Ale, the official craft beer of Lexington SC.
When you look at two teams that value the ball as much as these two do, they both have playmaking back lines. I mean, both teams present problems if you don't apply the appropriate pressure, and we saw that distribution right there from Blackett. We've seen it from Kip Keller, we've seen it from Hemelainen, seen it from Ordonez throughout his career. Obviously, Jim Brown is having some moments on the ball right now, but he has proven to be extremely quality on the ball, and that's going to be a moment for New Mexico United. That ball from Blackett can get Gloucester into that space as Melto drifts centrally, as we see the tackle from behind from Greg Hurst on Aaron Malloy.
The referee deemed that Hurst got enough of the ball there to not give a foul. Zenge does so well there, slithers through traffic. But the run from Firmino was way too early, and the offside flag goes up.
But you like the idea if you're Lexington, and you like the few moments that have presented themselves. You're starting to grow into this match. McHammy has been pleased with the defensive posture and stability that this side has kind of showcased throughout this season thus far, and that has grown in the fluidity offensively, and we see it right there. Goodrum shifts out wide, Firmino climbs into the central space, goes back to where Rodriguez can start to find some success. We've seen Epps keeping his defender all the way on that width and that sideline.
Early ball played in behind. Semle is there to clean things up for Lexington. Way out of play for a throw. Led to the Prinks Tires USL Cup Game Day sweepstakes for your chance to win a prize pack worth up to $2,000. Scan the QR code on your screen now to enter today. That header comes off in Lexington's favor. By the way, the draw brought us 4 pretty impressive matchups, most notably, of course, Louisville having to go to Tampa Bay. Oh, and Lexington have absolutely coughed that up. New Mexico score here, but I don't think it's going to count. Flag has gone up here. There's been multiple occasions in this first half where Lexington have presented these kinds of chances and they're let off the hook.
Squeezing the space, and you wonder, see Bailey getting that final touch and Melto being offside from that pressure.
Well, Lexington will be counting their lucky stars there. That very easily could have been 1-0. Delio Rodriguez, it appears, needs a moment. He was down behind the play for Lexington.
With the way Lexington plays, these are moments that you do need to present to teams, to opponents. You need to show them the bravery to play in those tight pockets of space in front of them so you can draw teams out, kind of generate some of that space higher up the field. But there are going to be some giving and taking in those moments, and we've seen Lexington be living on that edge right now.
We've talked about this a few times throughout the year, how Lexington can be so good when they have the ball at their feet, very good in possession, but teams that can press you at a very strong clip or can pick their moments when to press you, like New Mexico can certainly rip up what normally is a very strong plan A.
Yeah, right now, 26 minutes in, I think the recognition and the awareness from New Mexico United at this moment is dictating the way this game is being played. I mean, right now they're having possession in these sequences. You see Gloucester drifting up there, but then it's also proximity giving them scenarios where they can apply pressure immediately. And that is causing some problems for Lexington right now. Just finding that secure first pass for Lexington. I think that'll solve a bit of what is ailing them at the moment, because we've already seen how dangerous they can be once they do hit the attacking third.
Lock it out wide, and that pass is picked off by Malloy. And then a lovely skip past that initial challenge here by Marcus Epps, who then plays a poor ball in behind, and Shakes retrieves for United.
This is why you hear a lot of coaches talk about the opening 15, 20 minutes, those opening exchanges, because those exchanges do come to define the matchups and the structure in which you're playing with, because do you have to drop in deeper to help out, kind of solidify things defensively, and then now you lack some numbers going forward. You lack that collective threat in those transition moments, and you have to delay a bit. And now New Mexico United's able to get back into shape. So it does take a little bit to start growing out of that momentum and start getting kind of a foothold and kind of playing at the tempo that you want this game to be played at.
The early returns as far as shots and shots on target, just not many moments. The XG would tell you as well that there hasn't been much happening either. 0.01 for Lexington, nearly 0. 0.18, not much better for New Mexico as Goodrum goes down here. This was away from the action. And I believe the referee has given a yellow card out here, and Dennis Sanchez is not happy about that.
I think Dennis Sanchez is making an argument about the foul on that far side on Nava earlier in this first half, and now Blackett with the first and picking up an immediate yellow.
Lockett picks up a yellow card. It's brought to you by Hicks and Funson. Very much happened away from the play here. So Blackett on a yellow. That's going to be something to monitor as the game continues on.
And we're playing against a veteran presence and experience like Philip Goodrum. He knows what buttons to press. I mean, obviously him even dropping into midfield, causing those decisions to be made.
A miscue at the back here. Rodriguez not quite able to pounce on it. Played all the way back for Shakes, who eventually cleared it as he slipped. A couple of awkward moments now for New Mexico defensively here. Brown is slow to get up. Another chance for Lexington here. They play it right into the middle. The layoff. He's speared over the top by Rodriguez after a lovely layoff by Philip Goodrum.
There's that fluidity that we see in the attack, the creativity. Little layoff from Philip Goodrum. You get all the attention, the defenders working to their left. Spoke about Rodriguez and that connection with that front three. What kind of space becomes available and where it becomes available. And that was a terrific example right there. Just unable to guide it on frame.
Well, that's going to take us into a first half hydro break here. Both teams get a chance to regroup at the half-an-hour mark. We talked about it. No clear-cut chances, at least that have been created by either side, but particularly for Lexington, some nervy moments at the back. New Mexico's pressure has certainly been a positive for them, but when Lexington can get out of it and get forward, they've created opportunities as well, as we just saw a moment ago.
And you make a great point, because now here at the hydration break, I mean, I can only imagine what Mac Hemme and his coaching staff are telling him, but you're absolutely right. You're one pass away from breaking that pressure, and you've seen what they've generated. I mean, New Mexico United seem to be the side that have the momentum, but touches in the opposition box are in favor of Lexington right now, 6-5. So with all of that tremendous work that New Mexico United are doing, they have still not found that breakthrough or rewarded themselves for the turnovers they're creating. And for Lexington, if they can just pick out the right pass to break that pressure, they've found success going forward. But for New Mexico United, they just continue to do a good job of being very consistent with positional play.
Should mention as well, there are two other games going on tonight around the grounds in the USL Championship. One game that kicked off along with us, Miami and Indy. That's a big game in the Eastern Conference playoff chase at the moment as well. And then the last game of the night that just kicked off a few moments ago, Jacksonville and Pittsburgh. That game is on CBS Sports Network tonight, national TV game in the USL Championship. Jacksonville looking for their first win as a club on the men's side of things, while Pittsburgh very much in the thick of the playoff chase, the defending champions are. They'll hope to pick up 3 massive points there. And then, of course, Pittsburgh hosts Louisville this weekend on CBS, which is going to be a wonderful occasion at FNB Stadium in the Steel City. We were saying even before tonight's game kicked off, the 3 midweek games are all games you want to tune into, and then the Saturday slate is just fantastic from top to bottom.
I'm not sure it gets any better than this. I mean, especially with the storylines that just continue to intertwine with the matchups, the rivalries, the standings, the implications of every match. I mean, we see how tight the West is, the East, kind of the middle of the East.
Oh yeah,
is just jammed right now. You mentioned the Miami-Indy game. Indy coming off tremendous form, 2-0 over Charleston Battery. Got outshot. I think it was 27 to. I mean, it was a loud number. I'll pull those numbers up, but scored 2 goals in the final 8 minutes to win that game 2-0 at home, and also have a big win over Lexington 3-1.
Perfect time to tell you more about that game. Saturday, July 18th, USL Championship Eastern Conference Showdown. Last year's champs, Pittsburgh. Last year's Players' Shield winners, Louisville. It'll be live at noon Eastern on CBS. One of the must-watch games of the summer. Don't miss out. CBS, noon Eastern, July 18th, part of a great slate around the grounds in the championship. Here come Lexington. Oh, they nearly played their way all the way through with Rodriguez. Just some lovely twinkle toes play in and around the New Mexico defenders, but again, couldn't finish it off. Back in by Malloy. Headed away only as far as Firmino. Now Zenge. Trying to gallop down this near side. Certainly Lexington trying to get some positivity even more so after the hydro break. What a ball that is by Malloy. Blaine Ferry tried to cross it into the middle. It deflects out of play for a Lexington corner after a superb find from the Irishman.
This is what we were just discussing. When you can get good numbers in the attacking half and not incur some of those casual turnovers that we've seen. They have been faced up, they have been aggressive going to the goal.
Blaine Ferry will stand over this Lexington corner. There's some pushing and shoving going on, no surprise there. Referee just keeping tabs on it. Just about everybody. He's inside the 6 on top of Chris Shakes, the goalkeeper. Oh, and Ferry miscued that, but then the overhead kick comes in. And Shakes makes easy work of it, but you wondered for a moment where that was going from Firmino. One of the better spells of the half from Lexington. Great recovery by Malloy to win it right back. Near side Firmino. Wonderful ball into the middle. Oh, miscued by Epps, who tried to pluck it out of the sky. Epps gets it back and then is double teamed, and in the end, New Mexico will find a way out here through Valentin Noel. But then Noel coughs it up. Malloy to the edge of the area, no foul. And now New Mexico can find an escape route. One of the livelier segments of the game here. Hurst, what a touch from Zico Bailey. Valentin Noel lays it off, and then the cross. Was it deflected? Yes, it was. Melto couldn't feed it. Obviously, yeah.
You gotta make sure that you're doing your job, but you're also...
Well, here's Greg Hurst. By the way, that call was changed. Not a corner to a goal kick. But New Mexico win the ball back quickly here with Gloucester now on top of it. It falls for Hurst. It was a lovely layoff. His shot is deflected, and Semle is there for Lexington to clear. And he finds Goodrum, put it on a dime. Firmino tries to join in. Was Firmino offside here? Referee had a look at it. Play continues. Blaine Ferry. All of a sudden, this game has gone back and forth, right? Each end of the field, it seems like. That's a miscued touch by Hämäläinen. Goodrum, short for Rodriguez, and New Mexico win it back. Now they look to exploit the space here. Melto, oh, and Semle comes way off of his line, but does get something on it. And from Lexington's point of view, it's a good thing that he did get something on it.
Well, almost at first when you see this play develop, you say he's way off his line and unnecessarily, but then when he makes the play, you know that it's the right decision because they had numbers and they were off and running. What a back and forth game this has turned into. I still think Lexington's probably going to look at some of these errant passes and see there's a problem, as now we're going to see Ordonez get booked.
Another Hickson Funson yellow card. Ordonez, I think, maybe hits Hurst in the face here.
You see that left hand get up in the face of Greg Hurst. This yellow coming, well, not only do you get a center back on a yellow, but This is still a very dangerous space for New Mexico United on an attacking free kick.
You didn't see it on screen there, but Mac Hemme was not happy with that decision either. Gave an earful to the fourth official, who again we commend for having to deal with those kinds of moments throughout 90 minutes, week in and week out.
Well, being professional in the communication with both coaches, but also being on the same page as the center official. I mean, that was where I was going with the fourth official, and that's going to be a continued theme throughout this night. Let's see what New Mexico United is able to generate from this.
It's going to be Greg Hurst into the wall. Oh, but it comes off a hand, and the referee says it's a penalty to New Mexico. And Lexington cannot believe it. Rodriguez is the guilty party here. The referee says he extended his arm up in the air to block the free kick. And New Mexico get a penalty with 5 minutes left in the half.
Yeah, you see that separation.
Well, from that angle, it does look like Rodriguez did exactly what the referee had gestured. You moved your arm away from your body, you blocked the ball, and it's in the penalty area.
And I was just taking a look, and because I was about to say that Alvis Osmanovic was in perfect position to pick up how Rodriguez was set up on the wall, and clearly detaches that arm and that elbow from body, making himself bigger.
That's about as upset as you'll see a coach who's just been awarded a penalty.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was trying to figure out what the argument was, but then obviously we see Simlay outside of the 18-yard box, so.
I wonder if they were also asking the question if, in this particular moment, if Rodriguez should be booked since he denies an opportunity there. Either way, no yellow card, but it is a penalty. Greg Hurst, it appears, is going to take the penalty here, has scored twice in the league already this season for New Mexico. This could be a key moment, getting towards the final moments at the end of the first half. Lexington fans try to put him off, but Greg Hurst is precise with his penalty and gives New Mexico the lead with 3 minutes plus stoppage time left in the half. His third of the regular season, and frankly, not many goalkeepers on the planet are stopping penalties when they're that good.
Here we take a look at the free kick again, taken by Greg Hurst. You see Rodriguez in that elbow and that arm, that body expanding his reach, and then Greg Hurst, composed and clinical, knew the spot he wanted to hit it and executed to perfection. You mentioned it, there's not much a goalkeeper's gonna do, going the right way, but when you're that confident in where you're going and how you want to hit it, it's where Greg Hurst just tucks it away. And although it being in a different fashion of how this first half has played out, New Mexico United will absolutely take that 1-0 advantage, because do feel like they have had kind of the louder spells of momentum here in the first 45.
Goal for New Mexico United in the 43rd minute by number 10.
Greg Hurst, wearing the captain's armband, takes responsibility over the penalty, makes no mistake. And New Mexico have the lead. They could build on it here. That's another giveaway. It's Nava, Bailey, Valentin Noel back out wide. Christian Nava once again. Closed down by Green. Noel trying to fend off Rodriguez. Jabang comes back, and New Mexico are forced to recycle it into their own half.
Go back to these turnovers from Lexington are quite uncharacteristic, and that's that balance of giving New Mexico United a lot of credit for the pressure that they've put Lexington under. But some of these passes have just gone to New Mexico United players without heavy pressure or pressure on the turnover or the channel in which it was played. Good outlet here.
Zenge on the return. It was too loose of a touch. Firmino not giving up on it. Slides, but cannot keep it in play. It's going to be a goal kick. As we get to the goal kick, we'll jump into stoppage time at the end of the half. Of course, the hydro break impacts how much stoppage time there is. There's 5 added minutes still to play in the first half. More than enough time for Lexington to try and find a response. Ordonez wins the header. Black it back for Shakes, who's closed down by Goodrum, and then clears. Zenge wins the initial header, but New Mexico shepherded out for a throw. That's thrown up the line. Jabang from Melto. Hurst was looking for it. Chris Gloucester. I'll say there's time for Lexington. There's also time for New Mexico. We're on the prowl looking for a second one here. Nava. Blackett checks it back down to Shakes. And the goal does change a little bit in the table. We'll put New Mexico up to 24 points. And with a game in hand, even 2 games in hand, still on some teams in and around them, puts them very much in the running for the #1 overall seed in the West. And who knows, maybe even the Players' Shield, depending on how things develop in the East with Tampa Bay, Charleston, and others. The lovely feed to Valentin Noel. Oh, pick that out. That's a ridiculously good goal from Valentin Noel. Out of the top drawer. And New Mexico double their delight in first half stoppage time with a sensational strike.
The recognition, the ball played in, Valentin Noel recognizes there is no pressure on him. Take a heavy touch forward and just a punishing strike from distance. Dips at the right time, has all the power it needs. You mentioned it just a few moments ago, Sean. Plenty of time for Lexington to pull themselves back into the game before the break, but plenty of time for New Mexico United to go ahead and reward themselves again.
That's Valentin Noel's first goal of the season in the USL Championship, and it was a gem. Now then, Melto, does he foul Firmino there? Referee says no. Play continues. And then that's just a blatant two-hand shove. Zenge. Some frustration starting to bubble over a bit for Lexington towards the end of the half.
Foul on Bailey, who is doing a lot of work in midfield. I mean, this midfield for New Mexico United has stood up to the task enlisted on them tonight, and we see Zenge on the yellow. Now you have both your players along that right side of the back line for Lexington on yellow cards. And that is that footballing adage of goals change games, and I would add that the timeliness of those goals change games, because this was very much when Lexington was starting to grow in this game, as now we see a foul and another yellow for Lexington.
Another Hickson Funson yellow card. This time it's for Jacob Green. That's 2 of the Lexington back 4 now on a yellow.
This is where not only does the first goal going to put you in a position where maybe not immediately have to open up and go after this game. It's something in the back of your mind that has to go as this game wears on. And then now you concede right before the break. I mean, the talk at halftime was probably going to be a lot different than right now, because now you got to come out in the second half with a ton of urgency.
Well, it's up to the referee now how much longer the half continues, and right on cue, the half ends there here in Kentucky. Well, New Mexico's press really dictated how that first half played out. The first goal was a penalty. The second goal was a peach of a strike.
Yeah, for Lexington, it's about finding that outlet, finding that space in between the lines to play out of. We've seen how threatening they can be going forward. But I was going to say, at a 1-goal deficit, you can kind of get yourself back in the second half. Now you have to come out flying. For New Mexico United, keep your foot on the gas. Make sure that you continue to pressure. Make sure you continue to generate those chances and see this game out.
So far, so good for New Mexico, but there's still a big second 45 to play here in Lexington, Kentucky. Hurst from the penalty spot. Valentin Noel from nearly another planet to make it 2-0 to New Mexico at the break. We'll have plenty more coming up when we come back.
Your heart beats around 100,000 times a day, racing blood and oxygen through 60,000 miles of vessels. But when Andy's heart failed, it was UK Healthcare that delivered him a new transplant in record time, so he could finally get back to taking it slow. It may seem like an ordinary afternoon, but Andy will be the first to tell you, ordinary is extraordinary. UK Healthcare, the power of advanced medicine.
Lexington Sporting Club isn't just a team, it's your club. That's why you need the LSC credit and debit cards only from Commonwealth Credit Union. With your LSC card, you get exclusive discounts on tickets, merch, and get to celebrate your club with every swipe or tap. Show your Lexington Sporting Club pride and gear up with the ultimate fan accessory only from Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
Lexington, start your engines. It's match day. Genesis of Lexington is proud to partner with Lexington Sporting Club, delivering craftsmanship, performance, and premium experience on and off the field. From kickoff to final whistle, we're investing back in the community that fuels this club. Ready to make your next move? Step into class and experience luxury evolve at genesisoflexington.com. Genesis of Lexington. Drive the difference.
This isn't just a soccer match. It's a movement that brings the city together, brings it to its feet. The noise,
Malloy.
the energy. 90 minutes where nothing else matters.
Into the box. Firmino sizzles the strings.
The year of the horse, our year.
Oh, what a save by Sedley.
Be there when it happens.
Halftime here in Lexington, but it's New Mexico having the fun at the moment. They lead 2-0 at the break. We'll have the second half coming up in just a few moments. But first, a feature with Carlos Llamosa from San Antonio on his memories from World Cups past.
In the middle of the 2026 World Cup, Carlos Llamosa is focused on something else. The head coach of San Antonio FC is navigating his club through the midway point of the USL Championship season. But nearly a quarter century ago, the World Cup was Llamosa's dream come true.
Well, that was a unique experience for many reasons. First, that was the first World Cup of the century. That was the first time the World Cup happens in 2 different countries. And that was the first time that happens in Asia.
The 2002 World Cup is to date the best performance by the U.S. men's national team. A stunning victory over Portugal in the group stage. A shutout of arch rival Mexico in the round of 16, with South Korea's 13-hour time difference to U.S. Eastern Time. Americans had to be creative for live overnight matches. Bars were open at 4 in the morning making breakfast for your matches. Were you aware of all of that at the time?
We found out being there in Korea. They show us videos of footage from TV networks, having a watching party at 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. Also for me, I have Colombian news going to my parents' house in Colombia in the middle of the night to do interviews when we were playing live.
In 2026, the World Cup includes more than 40 players whose careers were touched by different levels of USL. Lamosa now has a seat to watching players chase their own World Cup dreams.
Here from our academy from San Antonio, we have a player representing the U.S. on the U17 qualifier. That's a very important league in the U.S. soccer developmental program.
Hardware. Last year, Louisville City raised the Player Shield as the best team during the season.
At long last, the breakthrough for Louisville.
But the Pittsburgh Riverhounds raised the USL Championship trophy for winning it all.
USL Championship winners.
2 title contenders collide in the Steel City. Pittsburgh Riverhounds and Louisville City. Saturday, July 18th at noon Eastern on CBS.
Espectacular. Hay mucha fiesta, señor Martino. Hay sed de revancha, doctor. Pero falta gol. Necesitamos esperar a Hugo. ¿Hugo Sánchez? Sí, tira para adelante. ¿Quién maneja? ¿Un futbolista? Súbete, llegamos por fin. Ay, bendito sea el chaparro, doctor. Hugo, ¿regreso a las canchas? ¿Algún consejo?
Sí, confía y cree en ti.
¡Ey! ¡Vas al norte!
A donde me dé la oportunidad, pero listo para dar el paso.
¡Listo, vamos!
This is your moment. Pain doesn't care who you are or why you hurt, but pain can be mastered if you know the way. Fight back with Tiger Balm's legendary herbal power. Trusted for over 100 years, our proven blend of camphor, menthol, and essential oils tames pain with the strength and speed of the tiger, so that you can rise above pain and get back to living. This is the way of the tiger.
We all have goals. But let's be honest, most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
This isn't just a soccer match. It's a movement that brings the city together, brings it to its feet. The noise, the energy. 90 minutes where nothing else matters.
Into the box, Firmino! Sizzles the string.
It's the year of the horse, our year.
Oh, what a save by Sedley!
Be there when it happens.
Welcome back, everybody. Sean St. Jacques, Eric Dobransky here with you. New Mexico leading 2-0 here in Kentucky. We'll have the second half coming up in just a few moments. We were talking about this a little bit during the game, but the upcoming schedule in the USL Championship doesn't get much better than this. World Cup's winding down. The World Cup's been fantastic. You immediately transition into this blockbuster schedule here in the championship.
Say a fan's dream right here. You have a 12 o'clock kickoff with Pittsburgh over Lou City. What a matchup that is. You can watch the World Cup third place match later in the afternoon and then switch right back to USL Championship because you have Loudoun and Tampa Bay Rowdies. Obviously, Loudoun has got to start picking up 3 points. They want to make a run in the East. We were just talking about Detroit City off air in the 11, losing to Miami FC right now, but a big win against Charleston previous week. Charleston and Sacramento Republic. That's a big East versus West matchup.
El Clamico as well, the Derby,
Yeah,
Rhode
I
Island,
missed that
Hartford.
one.
I mean, all of them. So many good games to keep an eye on. More on Saturday to keep you aware of as well. El Paso go to Tulsa. Tulsa, it feels like, need a little bit of a jolt at the moment as well. Golazo, Monterey Bay against Phoenix. Then on Wednesday, a couple of good games. CBS Sports Network, Lexington hosting Oakland. Same day on Golazo, Miami go to Colorado Springs at Widener Field. And then Friday after the Wednesday, New Mexico go to Birmingham, an interleague game there. Both teams trying to make pushes in their respective conferences. Doesn't get much better than that. You can circle just about all of those games, and they should provide you with quite a bit of entertainment and drama, to say the least. We'll take a break here. First half highlights, stats, and the second half kicker coming up after the break.
It is halftime in the USL Championship. We'll get you back out to your match shortly. I'm Dan Lucas inside the USL studio with the headlines. Before the USL Cup group finales last weekend, Hartford Athletic hosted Orange County. Now in that match, Hartford's Michy Galina assisted on this goal. That's his 30th career assist, putting him in rare company. Galina is the 9th member of the championship's 45-goal, 30-assist club. Hartford Athletic was one of 6 championship clubs to advance to the quarterfinals of the USL Cup. Louisville City led all teams with 12 goals scored in the group stage, and 2 Louisville players finished in the top 2, Jansen Wilson with 5, Chris Donovan with 3. And those USL Cup quarterfinals will take place on Wednesday, August 12th. Tampa Bay hosts Louisville City. Charlotte will host Hartford Athletic. Spokane welcomes Colorado Springs, and San Antonio will host Miami FC. Upcoming national spotlight games, the big one in the championship this Saturday on CBS, Pittsburgh Riverhounds hosting Louisville City at noon Eastern. Next Wednesday, Oakland Roots at Lexington SC on CBS Sportsnet and 2DN. Then next Saturday, Detroit City hosts Las Vegas Lights on ESPN2. San Antonio hosts Indy 11 on the 31st on CBS Sportsnet. This is the USL Halftime Update. Let's get you back out to your match.
Lexington, start your engines. It's match day. Genesis of Lexington is proud to partner with Lexington Sporting Club, delivering craftsmanship, performance, and premium experience on and off the field. From kickoff to final whistle, we're investing back in the community that fuels this club. Ready to make your next move? Step into class and experience luxury evolved at genesisoflexington.com. Genesis of Lexington. Drive the difference.
Hearing is a marvel most take for granted. Tiny bones and special cells turn sounds into signals the brain can understand. But Dewan needed a first-in-the-country cochlear implant from UK Healthcare to hear everything a teenager wants to hear.
Dewan, homework.
And everything they don't. It may sound like an ordinary school night, but just ask Dewan. Ordinary is extraordinary. UK Healthcare, the power of advanced medicine.
Lexington Sporting Club isn't just a team, it's your club. That's why you need the LSC credit and debit cards only from Commonwealth Credit Union. With your LSC card, you get exclusive discounts on tickets, merch, and get to celebrate your club with every swipe or tap. Show your Lexington Sporting Club pride and gear up with the ultimate fan accessory, only from Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
Lexington, start your engines. It's match day. Genesis of Lexington is proud to partner with Lexington Sporting Club, delivering craftsmanship, performance, and premium experience on and off the field. From kickoff to final whistle, we're investing back in the community that fuels this club. Ready to make your next move? Step into class and experience luxury evolved at genesisoflexington.com. Genesis of Lexington. Drive the difference.
Welcome back, everybody. Sean St. Jacques, Eric Dobransky, our entire crew. Great to have you with us. About to get the second half started between Lexington and New Mexico United in the USL Championship tonight. Dennis Sanchez's men leading by 2-0. Let's go back through the first half highlights between these two Western Conference combatants. Again, so much can change in the West.
Time and a lot of space, and there he has both of those. And then just addresses the ball so well, puts his team up 2-0 right before the break. And that is something that Lexington is going to be kind of wishing that they were still down at 1-0, but now it just kind of increases the urgency and the frenetic pace that they need to come out with here in the second half.
Look at the halftime stats. The shots on target are the same, but the shots are where you really need to look as far as the quantity of the chances, but also the fact that some of those came off of Lexington miscues.
And the box entries are almost equal for both these sides. So Lexington's going to feel like the opportunities are there. They need to capitalize, but they also need to get kind of defensively stable. They need to make sure that they're screening the passes, they're disrupting plays when they're there to be disrupted, and then getting good representation in both boxes.
Before the second half starts here, we can tell you a couple of score updates. Miami are 1-0 up against Indy. They just get into the second half there in South Florida. Pittsburgh just scored against Sporting Jacks. They lead 1-0 in the northern part of the Sunshine States. We're keeping those two games in the back of our minds as well, while we're keeping an eye on the lone Western Conference game tonight in the USL Championship. We now wait to see what Lexington's response will be. New Mexico are 2-0 up on their home patch. See if the hosts can fight their way back into this one in the second half. New Mexico go from left to right in those road yellows. They get the second half started here. Sean St. Jacques, Eric Dobransky, our entire crew. Great to have you with us. A penalty conversion from Greg Hurst, and then a world-class finish from open play. Valentin Noel to give New Mexico a 2-0 lead. Over to Lexington to see if they can turn things around in half number 2. Challenge comes in there. Referee waves on advantage here for New Mexico. Try to surge ahead. There was a good defensive recovery on that far side by Blaine Ferry. And now the referee will acknowledge the player down. It is Valentin Noel for New Mexico, who you mentioned earlier, Coach, is coming off some injury issues earlier in the campaign. New Mexico fans will not want to see this, particularly after the first half came to a close with such a fantastic finish.
It's so challenging to see any player down. You just hope that all these players can have healthy seasons, and especially one like Valentin Noel coming back from the injury. Kind of the patience and work that it takes to get back, as we see just kind of that coming together right there. It does look like Valentin Noel's back up. I mean, that's great to see.
Both teams are unchanged between the first half into the second half. Can Lexington pounce on something here? Marcus Epps cutting in field, shot deflected, and it will bounce out for a Lexington corner.
This is where Lexington can be a top threat. We saw it in the first half. You get the consistent delivery, and that consistent delivery lends itself to consistent runs.
The Lexington corners are presented by Commonwealth Credit Union. It's whipped right in there. Oh, and Shakes just palms it over the bar and out of play. That was inches away from being big trouble for New Mexico.
Almost looked like it caught Chris Shakes by surprise. He almost expected first contact to come from either Lexington or his own team.
Second try from the corner. Malloy will have to wait just a split second here. Javane Brown, Joseph Melto, summoned for a brief word from the referee. Malloy plays it short. Oh, Blaine Ferry miscues his touch. And New Mexico can at least leak out for the moment here. Nava, waited too long to play in a couple of other teammates, and Lexington do just about enough to stop the counterattack. There were 3 New Mexico players just darting down that far sideline, and Nava just didn't get it away in time. Lexington reset with Brown out of the back. Marcus Epps. Oh, what a ball that is, but it's just a smidge too firm. And Shakes times his run perfectly off of his line.
Now we've seen both keepers have to be alert and aware off their line. We saw a terrific play in the first half. There's Emily, another good ball over the top. Chris Shakes has been there, up to the task, decisive.
Marcus Epps has 3 assists in the league this season. He also had 3 assists in Lexington's USL Cup campaign as well. You just got a little glimpse there as to why.
He's going to have to be influential because Lexington needs to score the next goal.
Turnover here, Blaine Ferry couldn't knife it through, slides back in again, just won't give up on the play, but New Mexico play their way through. Greg Hurst leads the charge. Nava to his right, he plays him in. Nava didn't have too much to work with. Jabang comes to help in support. It's cleared back into New Mexico's half. Blackett was on a yellow card for New Mexico, plays it back for Shakes. Should remind you as well that Ordonez in green for Lexington, sitting on yellow cards as well.
And I do want to correct myself because I do think in the first half I mentioned Zenge being on yellow, and he is not on a yellow. You are 100% correct. That still puts 2 of the 4 on the back line for Lexington on yellows, and still have to be measured in some of those louder transitional moments where you foul, how you engage defensively.
To your point, though, New Mexico thought Zenge should have been booked. He had that clear push in the back. Referee didn't see it the same way as far as a potential yellow card at that particular moment.
We've touched on it throughout this match. The West, how tight the West is. East, the race in the East as well. Get back to that in just a moment.
Oh, lovely give and go initially there. Jabang at the heart of it, but the flag goes up. Melto caught offside. Lexington free kick.
I think the special thing that we just continue to see throughout the USL Championship year after year is the clarity and identities from every team. I mean, when you look at the West and you look at some of the matchups and stylistically how that game is going to play out based on how each team want to play, what they want to take away, what they want to take from the game. I mean, it's just so impressive with what these organizations, what these teams, what these head coaches are doing within the league. Just showcases that the best plan B is doing plan A better.
Another surge here from Lexington. Oh, what a ball. Played right through the edge of the 6, and Goodrum was just inches away from redirecting that on target. Jabang. Good step again by Malloy to win it back for Lexington. Reset for Ordonez, through the lines for Rodriguez. Couldn't quite corral it. Malloy, the omnipresent Aaron Malloy, again there to win it back.
And we've seen the uptick in pressure from Lexington now. Their ability to get themselves on the ball, closer to goal.
Bounces out for a New Mexico throw. Another reminder, jam-packed Saturday of games. The headliner, July 18th, noon Eastern, Pittsburgh, Louisville. CBS, big CBS for that one. The defending champions, Pittsburgh, Players' Shield winners from last year, Lou City. One of the must-watch games of the summer on CBS. Noon Eastern, July 18th. Cannot wait for 2 USL Championship heavyweights to clash in the Steel City.
I guess just overall, just what a fantastic footballing weekend.
You're not kidding.
Jam-packed Saturday and then World Cup final Sunday.
pass from Green. Beautifully weighted for Marcus Epps. Epps cuts infield for Lexington. Oh, and his shot is blocked by his own teammates. That looked destined to go in. But I believe Philip Goodrum's blocked Marcus Epps' shot, and to add insult to injury, he's offside.
And what a drive here from Epps. We saw it a number of times in the first half, his ability to get isolated. Philip Goodrum trying to work across the face of the 6-yard box, just unable to get out of the way, and that unpredictability and that ability for Epps to drive across the face of goal. Philip Goodrum just unable to step out of that. Shot taken from Epps, but that is better from Lexington right now. They need to find that breakthrough sooner than later so they can push for an equalizer.
To try and spare Philip Goodrum's blushes a bit, Shakes may have been able to get to that. It was tough to tell, but of course we'll never know. But to your point, the build-up to get to that point is what Lexington want to see more often in this second half. Green and Epps combining there. Gloucester leads New Mexico forward up the other end and is very wasteful with his delivery into and then out of the penalty area.
Yeah, for Lexington, just as New Mexico United in the first half, they want to see this amped up pressure pay dividends. Seen the chance creation increase, the volume of pressure increase. We've not seen as busy of a box around that man right there.
The run from Jabang. And Jabang is fouled. Free kick, New Mexico. Blaine Ferry, who was called for the foul, well, let's just say this. He doesn't agree with the referee's decision.
And just as Lexington used this in the first half, now, albeit they conceded 2 goals late, they used some of these set pieces earlier in the first to kind of settle in, get the footing. New Mexico United could do the same thing. I will add the caveat of, for New Mexico United, you have that 2-goal cushion. You are finding that delicate balance between going ahead and being aggressive and keeping your foot on the gas, finding a 3rd goal, putting this game to bed, but also not leaving yourself susceptible to conceding any goals with plenty of time left, because then you just make it a frantic finish.
That's a New Mexico miscue off the throw, gives it right back to Lexington. We start to inch towards the hour mark.
And right now for Mac Hemi's group, 31 final third entries, 16 of those have equated to touches in the opposition box. For New Mexico United, 35 final third entries, 9 of those have been in the opposition box. So Lexington doing a good job of protecting the box. Obviously, efficiency for New Mexico United when they do get into the final third, but you also have to feel for Lexington that just keep knocking on the door, but you have to find the first one.
Green and Epps combined again. Epps to the byline. And that deflects out for another Commonwealth Credit Union corner for Lexington.
Just see it from Lexington. They're just more aggressive with that first and second ball. First half, they're a bit more conservative, kind of going backwards, sideways. Now they are front-footed, and we're seeing the positives from that.
So Lexington are preparing a change. We'll get to that in a moment. Malloy from the corner. Headed to the outskirts of the 18-yard box. Lexington forced to refresh the possession. Sent back in by Blaine Ferry, only to be caught by Shakes. Number told it's going to be Tyreek Scott, who's getting set to come in from Mac Hemi's group at the next stoppage.
What a goal he had in that 4-1 win over Tampa Bay Rowdies, as we see New Mexico United now entering in the attacking half again. Going back briefly to what I mentioned earlier about the identities and the clarity that we've seen amongst the whole league. It is almost that you see like shifts within the season because you don't have a lot to scout off of. Early on, you're going match by match, and then you hit that mid-season. People have seen you. People have gotten a good look at the game model, the principles of play, so they're going to begin to take some things away from you. So now it's back to finding consistency in your identity, but doing it in a different way, as we see change for Lexington coming.
There's going to be Scott entering for Lexington. That is going to be it for Nick Firmino. Had a pretty strong, I should say, first half at times. Haven't heard from him much in the second half. Scott can certainly provide a spark off of the bench for Mac Hemi. Two league goals, including the wonderful goal he scored that you mentioned earlier, Coach, away to Tampa Bay. Just so he reminds you as well that Lexington have been through a pretty tough stretch in all competitions. You have to play San Antonio at home, away to Tampa Bay. Last time out in the Cup, Louisville away, and then New Mexico on a quick turnaround here tonight. Louisville could come back and get something from this game tonight. They'll feel that they've escaped this stretch with a very positive set of results, considering who they've come up against. Rodriguez up ahead, couldn't quite find Goodrum. Jabang out wide. New Mexico would love to grab another one here. And it floats in, oh, Greg Hurst! What a stunning goal that is! As if we had cued him. A delicious ball over the top is smashed in off the volley. The Scotsman's on a hat trick. New Mexico score another sensational goal to take a 3-0 lead. Goodness gracious.
And what a left-footed ball served in. I mean, this is what subtle movement does for you. You drift centrally, but then you explode to that wide space, and then authoritative on the finish. And for him to get a hold of that, just crushes it into the back of the net.
Well, the fans that have traveled from Albuquerque have got more than their money's worth tonight. 3 goals for New Mexico, and 2 of them have been among the best we've seen all season.
Those are 2 teammates right there that might be competing for goal of the week. Valentin Noel, punishing strike from distance to make it 2-0. What a run. And he created that space, obviously collective movement, so teammates occupying defenders, but he drifts subtly centrally, and then he knows what space he wants to hit, but the delivery is spot on as well.
Goal for New Mexico United in the
New Mexico's Super Scott. 2 goals among New Mexico's 3 on the night. We're told amongst all the celebrations, a card was handed, yellow card that is, to one of the New Mexico assistant coaches amongst all the hubbub. Just as we were talking about how New Mexico would love to grab a 3rd and really put this to bed, they come up with another miraculous goal. And on the back end here, Blaine Ferry is also going to be booked for Lexington. That's another Hickson Funson yellow card. Just as we had mentioned that Lexington still have a hill to climb, well, very quickly that hill has turned into a mountain. And you mentioned two candidates for goal of the week. I don't know who you vote for, one over the other. I mean, both of them were absolutely fantastic.
And almost a similar goal from Christian Nava against Oakland Roots. All over the top, and just the confidence and bravery that is struck with. Didn't even let it bounce.
Well, Mac Hemi's going to get a couple of yellow cards off his ledger here. Blaine Ferry and Arturo Ordonez are going to make way, both of whom are on a yellow card. They'll be replaced by Joe Hafferty and Michael Adirokun. With 25 minutes left in a game that New Mexico will feel they now have a stranglehold over. And here they come again. Valentin Noel. Early ball in behind. This time Zenge and company are there for Lexington on the defensive side. Adirokun forced to check it back to Hafferty. The two subs getting involved right away. Epps ends up giving the ball away again. Howell and Nava linking up here. Malik Howell. Just bending one into the middle. Oh, it's a mistake! And Greg Hurst nearly had his hat trick blocked away. Looked like it was Zenge there just in the nick of time. Now Zico Bailey. Oh, just bulldozing his way through. Did it one too many times. And his follow-through leads to a free kick going the other way. The Lexington Sporting Club is thrilled to offer Little Kickers, a nationally acclaimed youth soccer program built for children ages 18 months to 9 years. Sessions are now live. Sign up at lexsporting.com/youth. Now Denny Sanchez and that New Mexico technical area are stirring a bit as far as potential changes. Get to that in a moment. At the moment, Lexington need to try and get a goal back. But New Mexico are just filled with confidence at the moment. They flood more numbers forward here. And they fizz in another! Each goal seemingly better than the last. Joseph Melto buries it into the bottom corner. Surely sealing all 3 points for New Mexico to take back to Albuquerque with them. And they put together one of the best attacking displays we've seen all season in the USL Championship. 4 goals, and 3 of them have been splendidly taken.
And we are just seeing class execution across the board and in a variety of different ways. Obviously the opening goal being a penalty, but a free kick earned. And then you get the one from Valentin Noel, the one right in front of goal from Greg Hurst that still had a lot of work to do. And then what a finish there by Melto. Had that game winner on the weekend at El Paso. This is a team that is just playing with so much confidence. Dennis Sanchez will tell you as much. Confidence and belief. And obviously when you're winning games, that adds to that. The momentum is real, and if you can capture that and still continue to stack performances and build towards stronger identity, it's exactly what this group is doing.
That's Melto's first goal in the regular season in the USL Championship on top of the cup goal as well. Couple of changes for Dennis Sanchez on the back end of that. Luther Archimed comes in for Valentin Noel. Christian Nava makes way for Cam Wilkerson.
68th minute by number 31, Joseph Melto.
What else can you say about New Mexico's quality finishing in the final third? The first was a penalty, we'll grant you that, although it was a well-taken penalty at that. Every goal since then should be a candidate for goal of the week this week and amongst the best we've seen in the championship to this point, particularly goals 2 and 3. Now then, Adedokun leads Lexington forward and then gets it back, and it's touched in by Goodrum. Philip Goodrum scores his third league goal of the season. And with 20 minutes of normal time left, Lexington finally get on the board. It's 4-1.
And that right there is an immediate way to frustrate a team that is feeling like they've put in a complete performance. You see the defensive deflection there as that ball enters in. See the last touch right there. Looks like from Melto, and then this is what Philip Goodrum does. He lurks and he finds space. He looks into that space where goals are scored. Saw him take a shot from Epps earlier on, but this is what makes him so dangerous, is he occupies that space. He frustrates you, makes you account for him.
Well, here comes Scott. Scott loops that over the top. Hafferty couldn't quite keep it in play. And it's a goal kick, but you can see just amongst the Lexington ranks that's given them a little bit of a boost here. Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. From the grassroots to the pros, Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select product specials and more. Select is the player's choice. Lexington now trying to beat New Mexico at their own game, putting some pressure on them here. But it's looped over the top. Oh, Semle's off his line here. Archimed slips as he tried to pass that into the middle. That was then coming together off the ball as well, but the chance is gone for New Mexico here. Melto goes down. Was there significant contact that led to that?
Get over the ball over the top, and we've talked about how influential both these goalkeepers have been off their line. Kind of one of the first indecisive moments. Semle in that sequence. And sometimes that's what happens as you see the Melto going down in the background. Sometimes what happens when you bring on a new player, you're just not as familiar with the buildup and what that ball over the top is going to present. So you question yourself coming off the line as we do see Melto back to his feet. Going into this match, talked about how close the fine margins were for New Mexico United. This is what you want to see, is multiple goals and kind of a cushion lead. But you also wanted to see this game out with a clean sheet if possible.
Melto will have to step off the field here. I believe it was Joe Hafferty that got tangled up with him away from the play. This is your friendly reminder that we don't have VAR to go back and check for a potential red card there, if that was even necessary in that particular moment.
Goodrum goal really injects some life into Lexington right now. You're going to see a heavy dose of aggressive play.
That's Malloy's ball over the top. When Goodrum got there, but I think he touches it last. He's a bit unlucky, Philip Goodrum. Did almost everything right there, but it's going to be a goal kick.
Almost looked like it live looked that it came off of Goodrum after the fact that he was out of bounds already.
Well, 16 minutes plus stoppage time left. Lexington would need another, probably in the next 5 minutes, give or take, to try to make a game of it here. And Shakes gives it right back to Zenge. Adedokun lets it fly. Does that come off a hand? Adedokun gets it back again. Rodriguez tried a sidewinding scissor kick, but spurns the chance over the top.
Adedokun has been excellent since coming on. Obviously sparked that attack that led to the opening goal, but his energy, get back on the ball there as we see Jabang. Although he doesn't necessarily get a touch right there, he does influence, unbalance Rodriguez there on the attempt.
Hydration break comes maybe at a decent time for Lexington. Both teams get a chance to refresh before we get to the final 15. We review the goals so far. Penalty conversion from Hurst and Noel. Hammer blow to make it 2-0. Hurst again with a wonderful volley to make it 3. Melto's first to make it 4-0. Goodrum gets one back to make it 4-1. Quality goal after quality goal in this game.
That penalty almost feels like a lifetime ago already, just because of the quality that we've seen from that, because even the penalty was quality, clinical and composed. But what a performance from New Mexico United. This is where you see the back and forth from teams. We saw it throughout the first half. And then when the breakthrough starts to come, that's where the responses become even louder.
Certainly the Goodrum goal has given the fans here something to cheer about, and maybe could help provide at least a little bit of a late Lexington spark as they try to at least save a bit of face at a bare minimum here at the end, but take nothing away so far from what New Mexico have done. Basically from the early moments of the game, the pressures we talked about helped to lead them to dictating the tempo of the game. That yielded to the first 2 goals, and then since then, they've come up with 2 more just fabulous finishes.
Well, and it's fascinating because, to your point, a lot of credit to the approach of Dennis Sanchez, his group. Obviously, you add on the layer of execution as well, because when you look at the body of work from both these teams, for Lexington, they both like to be on the ball. For Lexington, teams have gone out and pressed them. Teams have gone out and made sure that Malloy was not the player that beat you. But New Mexico United, I don't want to say took an opposite approach, but they invited Malloy to get on the ball, but deeper in possession. They allowed him to get on the ball right outside the 18-yard box of his own 18-yard box, and then took away the options in the preceding layers of the field. So made them make difficult decisions, which caused some turnovers, caused some havoc.
Not to scare the rest of the West here, but New Mexico are also doing this with the following players on the bench: Kip Keller, Dayon Harris, Niall Reed-Steven. Think about that for a moment. The depth that New Mexico has might be up there with the best teams in the championship right now. Niall Reed-Steven came into the night as New Mexico's leading goal scorer in USL Championship play. It's not the case anymore. Greg Hurst, who's doubled his season tally in the league tonight, is now up to 4 goals. That's currently the New Mexico lead.
And I agree with you 100%. That's I'm silent. I'm just kind of shaking my head trying to think of another team to the point that you were making with the depth. And when we talked to Dennis Sanchez about, I don't want to say struggles early on, but maybe I think we all thought that New Mexico United coming into the season was going to come out of the gate flying.
Right.
And it took a little bit for them to get going. And Dennis Sanchez kind of just credited simplicity and clarity in finding that breakthrough and that turn for this team. And we are seeing it at a high level right now.
Hurst with Brown mixing up there. Melto Controls for New Mexico. Zico Bailey. Forced to check it down. Shakes is way off of his line here. And eventually does get it clear, and then a foul comes in. Rodriguez gives New Mexico a free kick. The hometown fans, why go far? Where the best stay is right here at home. Embassy Suites Lexington Green. It's your go-to spot for a weekend staycation, a night out, hosting meetings and events, or out-of-town friends. Local, loyal, and always game day ready.
And for Lexington, they've got to make sure that this does not linger, and they haven't, because even when we talked to Matt Hemme this week, it was the challenges that they credit for defining this run of success and this run of form. When you're forced to ask questions of yourself and really look at some of the areas that you can evolve in, kind of fine-tune, refine, that's where this team has just continued to grow, and you see the results go hand in hand. They have Oakland Roots coming into town in their next matchup, so that's going to be another big Western Conference tilt, and then at FC Tulsa after that.
Malloy's ball in, he's dealt with. Chris Gloucester is going to clear it away. Quick update on the other games. Miami are 2-0 up on Indy. Jacksonville have come back to tie it, 1-1 against Pittsburgh.
One response from Miami FC. They were up 1-0 late on Birmingham Legion last week. Conceded late. Had to settle for the 1-1 draw. Obviously, a lot of credit to Birmingham Legion to get themselves into that game, and played a tremendous second half. That's where sometimes you look back at games and you feel like you left points on the table. And Miami having a terrific USL Cup performance this past weekend.
They got through as the wild card with that 5-0 win away to Sarasota Paradise out of League One. Adedokun tried to poke that forward. It's blocked away.
It's just so well defended, understanding where the run behind you. It's a good ball in as well.
And Malloy feeds it in. This is Joe Hafferty. Stays with it. Hafferty trying to find Adedokun, then trying to find Goodrum. Couldn't get it to either one of them. New Mexico slamming the door shut when they need to defensively. Green up ahead. Marcus Epps. He's had a couple of close calls tonight. Gets to the byline, and again, New Mexico were there to put the clamps on him and clear it away. Foul and a free kick. Here comes a Lexington change here. Milo Yosef is going to come in for Braudilio Rodriguez. So that leaves Matt Hemme with one change left. Shakes clears the lines for New Mexico. I mentioned Miami earlier. I still marvel at the job that Gaston Madoni has done since he's come in. For those that have followed this league for a multi-year period, if not longer, Miami had the nightmare season a couple of years back. It just, nothing went their way. Gaston Madoni last year puts them in the playoff chase for a decent amount of last year's season. They don't make it, but they take a giant step forward. And now, obviously, all the great stories about Eloy Room, Jurgen Lacadia going to the World Cup with Curacao, and all the great moments they had there. But this Miami team is very much in the playoff chase in the East, and Gaston Modoni is a big, big reason why. That's going to be a bigger storyline, I feel like, as the second half of this season continues on.
And ended last season with a lot of strong performances, and I think that was kind of a team that everybody earmarked as a team to watch this season, and they have not disappointed. They play with so much joy, so much passion. I mentioned Lacadia and Room. I mean, they've brought in some experienced USL Championship players. Rodrigo DaCosta scored the opener tonight. Lacadia scored the second one tonight, put them up 2-0.
It's a foul, it's a yellow card. Bunsen providing you with the booking here. I believe that's going to be Javane Brown picking that one up.
For New Mexico United in the 85th minute, number 6, Gideon Allen replaces number 10.
There's the foul there at midfield.
And number 5, Dayon Harris replaces number 15, Usman Javane.
That now puts
Yellow card has been issued.
the center back. Obviously, Ordonez is off, but Hefferty in. It just shows some of the isolated plays that Lexington's back line has been under throughout tonight.
Dennis Sanchez makes 2 changes there. Greg Hurst, what a night he's had. Finishes with 2 goals. He makes way for Gideon Zalalem. Dayon Harris has had a fantastic season for New Mexico. He comes in as well for Usman Jabang. So both teams now have just the 1 change left. Well, soccer season is here, and SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the USL. Get all your USL tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site. SeatGeek is your ticket to great seats. That's given away to Marcus Epps. Epps for Aaron Malloy. Well, because it's him, you wondered what the outcome was going to be. Difficult technique, couldn't put it on target.
You rarely see that kind of strike from Aaron Malloy. You see that punishing strike test a goalkeeper. Kind of to add to what Lexington's turnaround after losses has looked like. The last time they lost by multiple goals was that loss in the 11, 3-1 away. And then they went on the road, beat El Paso 4-1. At home, 2-0 over San Antonio. And the 4-1 over Tampa Bay Rowdies away as well. That was 10 goals for, 2 goals against in that span. So it is a team that the response and the resiliency is ingrained in their identity right now, and it's going to be tested in this handful of games coming up, and you can only take one at a time, but think about how much a week can do for you.
For New Mexico, it's the most goals they've scored in the league in a game this season. They did score 4 in the Cup at home to Phoenix. And they're on the prowl again. New Mexico haven't scored 5 in a game all season in all competitions. Bailey and company linking up there. It dribbles onto this near side, a slip. And a foul and a free kick for New Mexico as they inch closer to the finish line.
Aggressive New Mexico United want to be on this free kick. They have a 3-goal advantage. You want to test the box. You also want to make sure you're secure. And as we thought, you'd play short and then just retain possession.
Here's Zico Bailey. Boy, Lexington did not stop him whatsoever. Had a really good opportunity to put that on target, sends it well out of play. Crossfield ball out to the far side. It's played centrally. Arirokun on the return. Oh, and then it's a poor challenge. It's going to be a yellow card. Gideon Zalalem gets it all wrong there. It's a yellow card brought to you by Hickson Funson, and does put Lexington in position here with a set piece.
Just gets all of Joe Hafferty here.
Well, Mac Hemi. Oh, Mac Hemi's going to be yellow carded here. Presumably because the fourth official didn't like something that was said. So Jordan Stewart will address that with the fourth official instead of Mac Hemi, who is yellow carded here. We're into 6 added minutes at the end, so that's a decent amount of time, but Lexington have to do quite a bit of goal scoring here to make this a game. Malloy's ball in, and a foul is going to go the other way. Blackett brought down, free kick to the visitors. Now, if you can't watch the match, they're on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access on Tuesday nights, plus your live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app. Well, we mentioned him earlier, Niall Reed-Stephen had a wonderful season with the now defunct South Georgia Tormenta in League One last year. He's had a really good first campaign with New Mexico. He'll replace Zico Bailey and gets the captain's armband as he enters as well. That's the last move that Dennis Sanchez can make. Another player just kind of bouncing back off an injury as well, but my goodness, will they love to get him back in the fold along with the other great weapons that Dennis Sanchez has at his disposal.
That's what you get when you have the clarity of roles, responsibility, is when you do have to deal with the injuries, which unfortunately a lot of teams deal with throughout the season. Players can step in and perform at a high level, and then that depth then becomes extremely impactful as the season wears on, because you're going to need it when that playoff push is there, whether you're playing for a top four, whether you're playing for a top spot. Then going into the playoffs, you know what you can get from each of the players. And it's so valuable for a coach.
That was a late tackle on the back end there. It's a New Mexico free kick. And Dennis Sanchez's men are just about over the line here. With the win, New Mexico will be up to 24 points. They'll be within 4 points of first place Orange County. Remember, New Mexico have a couple of games in hand. They're only 1 point back of San Antonio. They have a game in hand on them as well. You made a great point earlier, Coach. You can have games in hand, but it's about what you do with them. This was one of them. And New Mexico have taken the bull by the horns tonight, particularly on either side of halftime. And they've put together one of their best results, particularly in the league, to this point in the campaign. It'll send them to 8 games unbeaten in all competitions.
And now we'll see a break in some of the match play and then prepare themselves for a big trip to Birmingham. I mean, Jay Heaps has group is a challenge to deal with. I mentioned that late goal to equalize against Miami. I mean, this is a group that just never stops working. Obviously continuing to try to find its footing within the season. They are right there below the playoff line in the East, but in striking distance.
Well, that Miami game has gone final. Miami wins 2-0 over Indy. That's a huge result for Miami. That puts them ahead of Indy at the moment in the East in a playoff position. Blackett clears that one away. Another ball lifted towards this near side. Marcus Apps. Still Marcus Apps. And his cross is blocked away, nearly falls for Josef. New Mexico will clear it. And they do have numbers striding ahead. Deon Harris leading the way with those fresh legs. Semle recovers for Lexington in the final seconds. Malloy. Right back to Apps. Marcus Apps. So dangerous when he cuts in field like that. Comfortable save by Shakes, and that will just about do it.
Really seen the versatility of Apps, his ability to play along that sideline, get isolated, and allow the numbers to grow in the attacking box for his team, and his ability to drive inside. And that right there to be able to turn and play.
Apps one more time, chance to flick that on. Zelalem plays it square. Wilkerson plays it back for Gloucester, who clears. We've had the 6 added minutes. Semle. Maybe one more Lexington opportunity here. Epps, first time ball. That's a push in the back from Blackett. Oh, but it's a handball. Referee says going the other way. Goodrum cannot believe it. Blackett needs to back off. Lexington were convinced that should have been a penalty. Blackett could have been in trouble there as well on a yellow card. We get the luxury of a replay.
Clever here with the touch from Epps. I'm trying to figure out where the signal for the handball, I mean, is it Goodrum there at the end?
I think the referee is saying there that there was no push or not enough for a penalty, and that's it. A resounding victory for New Mexico United in Kentucky tonight. They win it by 4-1. In the end, it was a dominating performance pretty much from beginning to end, but the quality of the goals will really be what's the most memorable part about tonight's win for the visitors.
You're absolutely right, because it's a masterclass from Dennis Sanchez's group in, one, navigating the ebbs and flows that a match is going to present to you, because you started out loud with a lot of turnovers, you're causing a lot of turnovers, creating a lot of chances, but then Lexington grew into it. But then another masterclass in execution. What goals we've had from New Mexico United, tremendous performance.
That puts New Mexico right in the thick of the race for the #1 seed in the Western Conference of the USL Championship. It's a pretty big hiccup for Lexington. They'll look to bounce back at the weekend. But it's New Mexico's night here in Kentucky. They win it 4-1. We'll come back after the break to wrap it up.
This isn't just a soccer match. It's a movement that brings the city together, brings it to its feet. The noise,
Malloy.
the energy. 90 minutes where nothing else matters.
Into the box. Firmino sizzles the strings.
The year of the horse, our year.
Oh, what a save by Semle.
Be there when it happens.
It takes dozens of muscles to pinch your fingertips, countless neurons firing right on cue. But when a car accident left Allison paralyzed, it took a rare procedure by a UK healthcare expert to restore those lost motor skills so she could care for herself again. And for others, too. It may look like an ordinary bracelet, but Allison knows ordinary is extraordinary. UK Healthcare, the power of advanced medicine.
Lexington Sporting Club isn't just a team, it's your club. That's why you need the LSC credit and debit cards only from Commonwealth Credit Union. With your LSC card, you get exclusive discounts on tickets, merch, and get to celebrate your club with every swipe or tap. Show your Lexington Sporting Club pride and gear up with the ultimate fan accessory only from Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
Full time here in the Bluegrass State. What a win for New Mexico United. They come to Lexington. They win it by 4-1, and all 4 pretty much of the goals were of the highest quality. Sean St. Jacques, Eric Dobransky, your entire crew back here to wrap things up in the USL Championship in our Western Conference showdown tonight. We're very much looking forward to looking back through full-time highlights from this game. The quality of the finishing was of the highest order. We start with the penalty. Handball Rodriguez. Greg Hurst steps up.
Yeah, he attaches himself where goals are scored and tucks that one away. And kind of a consolation to the overall result for Lexington SC. But you look at the numbers, I mean, the shots and the shots on target, you gotta feel like there was more for you in this game, but credit to Dennis Sanchez and his group.
For New Mexico, they're now 8 games unbeaten in all competitions. With that win, Lexington came into the night in 9th in the West. They stay there, but could be vulnerable depending on how the results at the weekend go in an incredibly tightly contested Western Conference from quite literally top to bottom. Well, this was the one Western Conference showdown tonight in the USL Championship. Goals galore in Kentucky, but it was the visitors that had the better of it. 4-1 is the final score. And my goodness, good luck picking goal of the week this week in the USL Championship. For Eric Dobransky and our entire crew, I'm Sean St. Jacques. We say so long from Kentucky. New Mexico wins it 4-1, your final.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.